Welcome back to Omni Edition Garden City. I'm Dan York, and as we promised up front, Monica Fulton is here from the Family Resource Center, as she often is. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And Dr. Stan Szczotka from the Garden City Public Schools. And sir, what exactly is your title with the public schools?
Thank you, Dan. I'm the Director of Student Services for Garden City Public Schools.
Okay. And we want to talk about something called the FAST program. And this is a cooperative effort between the Family Resource Center and the Garden City Public Schools. And I guess we'll start from scratch because that in itself, the name of the FAST program really doesn't explain what we're talking about. Monica, I'll start with you. As quickly as you can and concisely as you can, what is this program and how did we get to this program?
Well, the FAST stands for Families in Schools Together, and it is exactly that. It is designed to bring families and connect them to the schools to help their students have better achievement and more success, both in life and at school. And it came about from responding to a grant proposal from the state of Michigan through the Model Programs Grant. And working with the school district and Dr. Szczotka, we were able to put together a successful proposal that was awarded. So that was great news.
And obviously that's very important because this program does not cost the city any money, nor does it cost the school district any money.
That's correct. Yep. All of the costs are covered by the grant project.
And much of what you do at the Maplewood Center through the Family Resource Center is based on these grant programs.
Absolutely.
And even your larger grant for the Family Resource Center, even though we refer to it as a contract, it is still a grant that had to be obtained to be able to run the programming.
That's correct.
Okay. And Dr. Szczotka, obviously this is important to the public schools because this is a hot-button issue at the very least and very important to the development of the youth of our community and the children that go through your public school system, that you involve the families in their development.
Well, Dan, what the schools have done for the last several years is survey risk factors associated with youth during this transitional period. Middle school children really found to be the most at risk to lead to developing later problems. All your first risk activities, whether it be substance abuse, whether it be interpersonal relationships, whether it be other aberrant behaviors, including sex or peer challenges, really occurs at the middle school level. And a program like this really fits the bill of trying to prevent the evolution of these problems so that we can add an achievement component to them later on through both the secondary and post-secondary education levels. The FAST program actually it currently exists in 46 states, in 15 countries, and 2,000 communities. We're really excited for it to have come to Garden City. Thank you very much to Monica Fulton and the Family Resource Center, in which without their support this wouldn't have occurred. In a nutshell, it's a youth and family empowerment program. It means, just as the acronym Families and Schools Together, it means to wed or bind the intervention of both the families with the students in the schools and then grow out to the community. So it's a really nice match that works really concurrently with our current scheme of challenged youth in Garden City.
And are you dealing with children who have already proven to be at risk? Are we dealing with children who are the very infancy stages, if you'll excuse the pun, of getting into these risk areas? I mean, how are you deciding or how are these children and families getting into the program?
That's a really good question. One of the things the program does, it doesn't discriminate between potentially who could be involved. There's a natural progression of our intervention with some students that do demonstrate risk factors within the middle school. And there's also the opportunity for students who have interest in the program to register for the program. Programs like this in the schools are difficult to start, and sometimes they're a daunting task. One of the initial successes we have is we have 20 families already enrolled in the FAST program, and it's been occurring for the last 2 weeks. It's going to occur for 2 more for just the youth, and then it'll concurrently run with the family portion of the FAST program for the next 10 weeks.
Okay. And for folks who are seeing this on television or on the internet, if after what they hear today that they'd like to pursue this program possibly for their child or for their students, is there still time to do that?
Yes, absolutely. There is still time to register until March 1st. We will close registration after March 1st. Students can actually pick up a registration card at Garden City Middle School in the office, and they do need to take it home and have their parents' permission, have their parents sign the registration card, and they can drop it off at the office. There's a box outside the office for the FAST program. They can just drop it in the box, and they can come to the meeting that happens with just the students on March 1st, right after school. It meets in the cafeteria, and that would be their first meeting. After that, we meet with the families. The family group starts, and the youth continue to meet after school for another 10 weeks. But we also meet with all the families together for the 10 weeks.
Okay. And Dr. Szczotka, we've talked about this in very general terms, but what are you hoping to accomplish, and what do we do to accomplish these goals through this program?
Well, let me talk a little bit about the program goals specifically, and a note that this is evolving for us. Although FAST does have a structured model of intervention, Garden City is going to customize it to fit their needs. There are essentially 4 program goals. There's a goal toward increased achievement of the students involved, and the research associated with the past practice of the program is that they have about an 80 to 85% success ratio, increasing student achievement. Consistent enrollment, student retention. We want to keep students in school and keep them in Garden City and performing well. There's a strong component of increasing pro-social skills, conflict management, really learning how to deal with crisis in a way that's more functional. A lot of that will occur not only with the families, but also brings in a teacher component. So we collect teacher feedback from the middle school staff about the children involved in the program. So we've kind of covered all these safety nets associated with what goes on in a child's life. And ultimately, we're looking at the graduation rate. Garden City students at the middle school level who are at risk of a delayed graduation, and this is the type of program that will continue to bolster our graduation rates and also improve their ability to perform in post-secondary education.
What are some of the things that are involved that you hope to accomplish these goals, and how you hope to accomplish these goals?
Well, there are 2 components essentially. There's the individual student component, where they've already began to meet, get to know each other, meet and greets, start collecting information about why they're interested in the program. And then there's going to be a family component that concurrently runs with the individual groups starting in a couple weeks. I'm going to let Monica talk a little bit about the components of the family interventions, as there's been a lot of coordination and logistics associated with making this happen.
Okay, well, Monica, I'll hand it right to you.
Well, the youth groups have been meeting now for 2 weeks, and they've been forming bonds, doing fun activities, exploring topics of discussion. They had ice cream social, they made ice cream sundaes the first day, and we brought in pizza the next group meeting, so they were very excited for the pizza. If you feed them, they will come. And then for the family group, all the families will be coming to group in the evening, and dinner will be provided for all the members of their family. And then after dinner, after the cleanup is done, the youth will meet in a separate area and go over not only topics that are kind of assigned by FAST, but also relevant topics that they're experiencing or troubles that they're experiencing in their own personal lives or during school. And while the youth are meeting that evening, the parents are also meeting and sharing with one another their struggles and talking with other caring adults and sharing ideas and sharing struggles and finding support, as well as getting support from the group leaders and getting information and referrals and as well as specific topics, again, assigned by FAST through the FAST curriculum. And then there's an opportunity for the parents and the child to then communicate with each other as well in that kind of safe environment about anything that may need to be discussed or cleared up. So there's a lot of activities designed to bond the group together, a lot of activities designed to bond the family members to each other, and a lot of activities designed to help bond the family with the school so that the school becomes a source of support, rather than someplace that they don't like to deal with necessarily, especially if their child is having a lot of behavior problems and their interactions with the school may be more negative because of that. We want it to become a positive experience for the families to interact and bond with the school.
I'll throw this question out to both of you, and I don't even know if it's an appropriate question, but is the idea here to show the children more what an appropriate path or appropriate behavior is, or is it more to let them know that what they're going through, everyone goes through, or lots of people go through, and that they're not the only ones? I guess I don't know if that's an appropriate question even.
Well, it is appropriate, and I think the answer is it's both. There's something to say to realize that you're not alone, but there's also something to say about what are your options. You do have choices, and let's explore those, and let's brainstorm those, and let's role play what other options might look like, especially if they haven't had an opportunity to be exposed to a more positive path.
And I guess as the demographic of the community changes, certain portions of behavior begin to change, and that's one of the things that the school district and you as the Family Resource Center begin to deal with on a more regular basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our community, has been hit hard by the economy, as in most of southeastern Michigan, and so when we are experiencing more poverty levels in our families and job loss and the stress is increased, and parents are worried about paying bills or getting food on the table, that does trickle down to the stress that the kids are experiencing, which can interfere with learning and with appropriate behavior choices. So, it's a two-pronged approach, really.
And obviously for the school district, this is a very important tool, and it's the first time you've had the opportunity to use it, so I'm sure the verdict is still out on the success rate or exactly where it will go. But obviously this is very important to the school district, because not only is it for the safety and the future of these individual children, but it's also how they interact with other kids who might be on the fence or might not be at risk, and you need to create a safe learning environment and a productive learning environment for those kids also.
And that's an intuitive statement. One of the nice things about the FAST program is it really, and Garden City, is despite the challenges and transitions that Garden City is in, we remain a really traditional community. With traditional values, and the families are struggling with much of the transitions that the community is going through. And the beauty of linking some of the school activities in a traditional way with more traditional values, I hate to overuse that word,
sure,
but the FAST program, for instance, starts with sharing a meal. And through this meal, like the tried and true roles that we play in a family meal, we grow different responsibilities, we grow a way of interacting with each other which is more functional. And oftentimes we don't have the same opportunities to advance those skills within our family. So blending that with the school has a lot of promise, if nothing else, to expose children and the schools together to that opportunities to lead to greater successes. If you had experienced it once, then maybe you'll be more inclined to use that type of skill. Okay. And many of our students and families simply are overwhelmed and don't have the luxury of some of these more traditional experiences. We hope to recapitulate them through the FAST program.
But I would assume also that this has an effect not only on the kids that go through the program, but the other kids in the middle school also.
Absolutely, and the research shows that there is a branching out of the effects across the whole district in other places where this has occurred. Time will tell. We're going to continue to collect the data on it, but it couldn't be more hopeful at this point.
Now, you mentioned that you have about 20 people in the program now, or 20 families in the program. Is there a limit as to what you can accommodate, or is there a number you want to get to?
At this point, we'd like to have that problem, but we're not going to have a limit at this point. I think our goal was to enroll 30 families, and we would be more than happy to meet that.
Okay, very good. So if people are interested in getting involved in this program, who do they contact?
They can contact the Family Resource Center. They can either stop in or call us. The phone number is 793-1860, and just let the receptionist know that they'd like to speak to somebody about the FAST program, and we'll get them to the right person. Otherwise, they can enroll through a registration card at the middle school.
Okay, very good. Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank both of you for coming onto the program and discussing this, and I wish you the best of luck with it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, we'll have more Omni Edition Garden City right after you watch this.